As I started my journey in photography, and I have learned a lot in the last year. And one of the biggest things I've learned is that lenses matter more than anything. And I've learned that you invest in lenses. So when I went on this journey to look for a lens that I wanted to use for a specific reason, photograph wildlife at a safe distance, I had to find one. These are the two lenses that I tested, and I'll tell you the lens that I fell on and the lens that I got. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a P&S Hobbies and Adventures. Today we have a hobby. One of my hobbies is photography. I love it. It's fun. It gets you outside, it gets you to do things and see the world in way different views, at least in my opinion, than you would normally see it. As I do this hobby, I learned I view things in a different way, and I think it's really cool. And so one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to photograph wildlife. Now, photographing wildlife there's many different things you can do with photograph wildlife. One thing that you need to do when you're photographing wildlife, you need to be a responsible human being, and you need to keep a distance between you and that wildlife so you don't disturb that wildlife, or you don't get hurt, or you don't hurt the wildlife. More than likely you're going to get hurt. Now, with that said, how do you do that? Well, you have to reach out from a distance and have a good zoom lens to get that close-up, nice picture of those animals, the moose, the bald eagle, the birds in your backyard, the porcupine, whatever it may be. And living here in Alaska, there is plenty of it, right? You can just drive around. I mean, we have moose in town, in Anchorage. So that's the thing. I went searching. I'm shooting a Nikon Z5 II. Great camera, love it. We can go over that in another episode. But I came down to two lenses that I liked that I needed to test out. Now, I also learned in my ventures in this that our local camera shop, and I'm sure multiple camera shops do this, they rent gear. So you can rent this stuff and try it out before you buy it. Because let's be honest, this stuff's expensive. And we don't want to just buy something and be like, oh, I don't like this, and then try to sell it because you're not going to get your money back. So what I did is I went down to shout out to Stewart's Photography in downtown Anchorage. Great place. I'm going to put a plug in here. Please, 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 if anything, any hobbies you do, and let's go in photography, go to your local photo place. Support your local guys. And I'm going to quote a YouTuber I like, and it's a completely different thing. Archery, MFJJ, he does archery stuff. He says, support your local archery shop. Support your local shops and anything you do in your adventures, because you need them. They need you. They need you to stay alive. You need them for whatever it may be, the purchase stuff to questions, comments, concerns, anything of that nature. Maybe even classes, because I know Stewart's offers classes, and the wife and I have taken a couple. Oh, we've taken one so far. We've taken classes. So support your local before you go and buy on B&H and all that kind of stuff, because quick secret, they're all the same price. You're thinking, well, I know my local shop's way more expensive. No, it's not. For accoutrements, little things like straps and this, that, and the other cages, yeah, they might be a little bit more expensive. But when it comes to lenses, camera bodies, your flashes, anything of that nature, that stuff is going to be price controlled by the companies. They get it at a certain price. But if you go look on B&H, you go look at any other place online, it's going to be within a couple bucks of everybody. They're all the same price. And when they go on sale, when Nikon says this body is on sale, everybody has it on sale. When Canon says this lens is on sale, everybody has it on sale. It's not just one place. So support your local shop. Always support your local businesses. Please do that. Go to them and use them for all your photography needs, your archery needs, your whatever it may be, photography needs. Right now we're talking about photography. I'm going down a rabbit hole. Down. Yeah. Anyways, so I landed on two different things, right? I found in my research, I found two different lenses that I liked. One was a Tamron 150 to 500 millimeter and a Nikon 180 to 600 millimeter. Now, I saw these two. These were the two lenses that I was like, hey, I'm interested in these two lenses, but I want to test them out. So what I did is I went down to my local shop and I rented the Tamron. And wife and I went out to a couple places here in Anchorage area, and we tested out and took some pictures. And I want to show you some pictures of what I took. So the first lens that I tested was the Tamron 150 to 500. So it's 150 millimeters to 500 millimeters. Really good zoom range. I got it out. It weighed, according to the Google internet, is 4.14 pounds. So 4 pounds, essentially. And that's just bare. And it's got a aperture of 5 to 6.7. Now, you're saying, well, that's a narrow aperture. Listen, you don't need really wide apertures when you're shooting at this distance, right? You're not going to get, and you can get lenses with tighter apertures, but hold on to your horses and take out a small mortgage, because that's what you're going to get. It's an external zoom. So what that means is when I turn the zoom ring, the lens goes out. Physically, you watch it go out. Now, not too shabby. It weighed all right. It took some great pictures, and here's some pictures that I took with it. All right, hey folks, quick plug here. I looked for the pictures that I took with the Tamron. Can't find them. Sorry. So that's why I said there's pictures up here. There's going to be no pictures. I apologize. I lost them. So let's carry on with the video. I am not getting into the weeds with corner acclimation. I don't know what it is, but people get it. I don't know much about that. All I know is it took good pictures. It was really good. Now I didn't have a polarizer on this one, but it took some really good pictures, and I thought it was really nice. It weighed. One of the pluses, two pluses of this lens is, one, it had a built-in Arca Swiss mount. So what that means is you just didn't have to put a mount on it to go on your tripod. Well, I thought it was kind of cool. Two, the price. The price of this thing on B&H is only $1,199. Not bad for a lens with this wide of a range. And it mounts right to your Nikon. I believe it comes in a mount for Nikon Z, Fuji, and I think one other one Tamron comes in. Comes in great. I took these pictures. They're awesome. The next week, I rented the Nikon 180 to 600. First thing I noticed with this lens was the fact that the throw on the zoom in ring was very short. It's like 1/3 of a turn from 180 to 600 versus the Tamron, which was almost like a half to 3/4 of a turn to go from 150 to 500. The second thing I noticed was the fact that it had an internal zoom. So it wasn't changing that weight. The weight wasn't moving forward when I was zooming in. Thought that was kind of cool. The weight's about the same. It says that it weighs 4.3 pounds on the internet, right? In reality, I weighed it. Here's me weighing it. It is 5.49 pounds, 5.49 pounds. So and that's with the hood, the collar, everything on it. So a little bit heavier than the Tamron. However, once I got to using this thing, it really, I thought, was a better quality lens. I thought the pictures took better quality. I took some pictures. Here they are, and I thought they were better. So it also has a aperture of 5.6 to 6.3. Now, it is a little narrower aperture than the Tamron at the beginning, at the lower end, at the 150, right? But it is 180 is the widest. But it does go to a 600. It's a whole other 100 millimeters closer than the Tamron. So I really like this. Now, two major downfalls on this one. One, it didn't have the built-in Arca Swiss mount. So you have to put your own, it has a 1/4-20 hole, so you can put an Arca Swiss mount on it to go on your tripod. However, it wasn't integrated, right? They both moved 180 degrees. You can both tilt them. They both mounted from the lens. Find that the narrower aperture on the Nikon was worse. I didn't see it making a difference at all. And I liked it. I really did. I liked them both. I thought they were great lenses. So, after careful consideration, what did I buy? That's why you guys are here. What did you buy? Here we go. Drum roll, please. I'll probably put them in there. I bought the Nikon. That's right. I bought the Nikon is $2,100 versus the $1,100 of the Tamron. Now, I'm going to go back to reason why I chose this one. And I love this lens. And I'm going to do another review. I just got this a couple days ago. I'm going to go to another review after I use this weekend and take a bunch of pictures and tell you how I really like it, like really use the crap out of this thing. One, it comes with a hood. It comes with a lens hood, and that is one of the things that the Tamron did not come with. You had to buy it separately, which I find if you're spending that kind of money on a lens, why don't you have a lens hood? A lens hood does two things, I think. I always like the fact that, one, it protects it. So if you drop this thing, bam, like that, you drop it straight down like this, protects your lens, protects your glass, right? Two things, the shadow of the sun, keeps the shadow of the sun, it's not in your way. Always put that on there. Why would you not do that? Come on, Tamron, get your act together. I guess that's why. So, this thing has 4 function buttons on it, and I have not yet to get into function buttons on my lens. I don't know. Another thing I like is, if you see right here, it's got these 2 connections to put a strap on this thing, which I think is cool. So you can put a strap on this. I also purchased a bag for this lens. Purchased a bag. Now, I do have a backpack, a camera backpack that I put this stuff in, and I could put this in a camera backpack if I rearrange it, right? I can put the camera in there and this in here. This thing does get heavy. So like I said, at 5.5 pounds, so 5 1/3 pound. If you look it up, it's going to give you grams, I think. But here on my channel, we use back-to-back World War champions measurements. Very good lens. And like I said, it does it internal zoom. I mean, look at this. That's 180 right there, like that. Look at that. See, that's 180. Now watch this turn. Bam. 1/3 to 1/4 of a turn. Man, I don't think you can beat that, right? I think that thing is phenomenal. So, in conclusion, I chose the Nikon. I think it's a better lens. I think it's, in my personal humble opinion, I feel it's a better lens. I think it performs better, and we're going to test that out, especially this weekend. I'm going to go out to perform and test it out. But the cons of this versus the Tamron, with the Tamron having a built-in Arca Swiss mount, and this doesn't, the Tamron being $1,000 cheaper, which I feel is probably your biggest one, right? Like the Tamron's cheaper. But I heard a saying on some of the pages I follow one time was, you marry your lenses, you just date your camera bodies. And after getting into this, I realized this, because the reason of this is lenses are lenses, glass is glass, right? They're going to put different motors in them for the autofocus. They're going to change a few things on the outside, but in the grand scheme of things, glass is glass. Good glass is good glass. Cameras, they go to the moon with different new things that they can do. So I feel you stick with a brand, stick with a system. You can buy new camera bodies, buy different camera bodies, but you still have all these lenses that can go with them. Because the lenses are what makes your photography, your photos look nice, look crisp. Way to go. So make your own decision. And in comments below, tell me what you like to use for wildlife photography, or, like I would like to say, just big zoom photography. You really want to get in close to your subject and really compress them and get that right up close, or something that's far away. Get that majestic bald eagle in there that sitting on his nest or whatever it is. So let me know your comments. Please like, subscribe, so there's other things that come out, and get out there. Have a good time. Adventure. Do your hobbies.